And welcome back, fellow adventurers, to Let's Play the Dig. When we left off, we unfortunately suffered a casualty in the group. Brink is now dead because of an accidental fall. And Maggie and Lo have split up to explore the area in their own different ways. So we're on our own right now, and after exploring around this circular area, we're going to go down the dark tunnel. And since it's dark, at least, well, I mean, since the prompt when you put your cursor over it is dark tunnel, I'm going to assume that we're going to need our flashlight to see around in here. Finally get a use out of it. Seems to work okay. There are those weird plants again. Pretty. During that cutscene, the shadow of the stalagmite projected onto the wall always gets me. I always think that, is that a person? And then, of course, it's not. Anyway, this place looks like it's very active. All these lights moving around here. And in the background, I hear kind of a... almost sounds like whale song. We got a button. Seem to open the door there. Airlock door. Okay. I guess that's what Lo is assuming it is, because, I mean, there's no way for him to really know. Although it does certainly look like an airlock. Yep. So, closed ourselves in, and if we hit the button again, it opens. So the mechanics of this room do indeed seem to work like an airlock.
This looks like a command center.
I think we're underwater now, folks. Not only suggested by the whale song, but this definitely looks like water in all these windows.
I can see a tunnel that connects to the island I just came from.
Interesting. So maybe we can get to that tunnel system. If that leads to other places, then we'll be able to actually get around this whatever it is. So I guess the airlock's there in case these windows break and this whole room gets flooded, I guess? That way that it doesn't spill into the cavern and then into the central area, maybe? Anyway, who knows for sure. Here we have a glowing panel. It's like crystals. One of them is dark. Maybe this indicates power supply?
It's an energized crystal.
We've got holes here.
This hole is empty.
Can we put the rod in it?
That won't fit.
Oh, okay.
It's an energized crystal. This crystal is lifeless.
Well, maybe if we can put something in these holes, we can manipulate these crystals. But, till we find those, I don't think there's much we can do here. So I guess we'll keep on the lookout for something that would fit into those holes. Another window.
I see many undersea tunnels, all leading from the large central island to the smaller islands.
Okay. So we really haven't had a chance to see it for ourselves, but it looks like Boston can see other islands than just the one that we were on. And that the one that we were on, or are still on right now, is the central one. Which is probably good, because if there's any control apparatuses like the one we just saw in there, they're bound to probably be in the center island. Okay. So I have a good feeling we'll be coming back here at some point. In the meantime, let's use our flashlight and get back through the tunnel.
I can't use these two things together.
Oh, do I just click on the tunnel then? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess from now on he's just going to use the flashlight automatically. Alright, let's try the ramp. This looks like it goes to the center of the area. Yep.
It's hot here. And it's glowing down there.
Heat indicates energy.
10 to 1, it's the power source for this place. All I need to do now is to find the light switch. Or the plug. Or the fuse box. Or whatever makes this thing work. An instruction manual might help. Maybe a map. Then I could use a sandwich. And a hot jukebox and a cold beer. Or just a starship headed for home. Get a grip, Boston.
That's a nice little moment. A lot of times in these games you don't get a point where the character just kind of completely vents his or her frustration at being caught in an adventure like this. So that's a nice little touch. Let's have a look down there again. Now, it kind of pans past it, so you can miss it if you're not paying attention. But basically, you can see that the energy is basically coming from the central area. It's hitting these 3 points, and then it's being directed up to that center area. Now, these two are hitting it right on, but this one is shooting off to the side. And here, you can see in these 2 places, it says lens.
I can see a lens way down at the bottom. I can see a lens way down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's the same for both. So, apparently, whatever these lenses are, they're basically doing the redirection up here. We can see here, we have an unattached lens.
I can see a lens way down at the bottom.
And this is what, and you see here's a lens slot.
The lens is missing.
And we know where it is, it's down here. So it seems that this lens, for some reason, fell off. And so the energy here is not being redirected correctly. And this is probably, this whole setup here, is the puzzle that took me the longest to figure out when I was playing this through the first time. It just took forever. I can't exactly say why, because now it's not... Now that looking back on it, it doesn't seem too unbelievably hard, but... I don't know, it's just one of those things. Okay, we have the control panel, we have a triangular button, and we have a loose plate. Blue crystal.
It's a glowing blue crystal.
Oh, and the power goes out. Okay, so chances are, if these control panels are going to work, we probably need to keep that in there, because it seems to be some kind of battery. Alright, so let's look at the control panel before we push the button. So we have white. Ah, okay, we have blue. And this seems to undo that. And if we do multiple stuff... Yeah, okay, so that's almost like a delete button there. So we have buttons which make colors. Looks like all 5 of these make colors. And that looks like a full clear. Okay. So let's just try a purple button, see what happens. Hello. Okay, it went down there, and it seemed to jump slightly to the left, and then went back. So let's clear that. Let's put in another color. This one's blue. Alright, that looks like it jumped up a little bit after going down there. So purple seems to be left, blue is up. What about red? If any of you out there have to be colorblind, I apologize for this puzzle. My color vision is not the best either. Well, that was interesting. I didn't see it particularly do much on that one. So we may have to observe that again at some point. But let's see what green does. Okay, that time it went to the right. Yeah, that was green. Okay, last color, yellow. Let's see what that does. Maybe it goes down. Yep. Alright, so we have our 4 directions and something that we don't quite know what it does, which is red. So we have left here, down here, right here, up here. Okay, so these two are kind of intuitive, because this one's on the left and you go left, this one's on the right, you go right. But these two are flipped. So up is down and down is up. Okay, so one of the things that tripped me up in this puzzle was that that little device is designed to actually put the lens back into place. And that's what I couldn't quite figure out what I was supposed to be doing here. So based on where it lands, I think we need to go left a little bit. Let's go twice. And this thing might be to get the lens. Then we want to go up and maybe put it back. Let's see if that works. No, it went left and went down. So let's see, it went left and then... Oh, well maybe I had it backwards. Maybe up is up and down is down. Maybe I just confused those in my head. Oops. Okay. Righty. So I think I needed to go a lot further to the left than where I was. So let's do that twice. Then we go down. Then we grab it. Then we go up really high. And do it again, maybe? If they really wanted to make this puzzle hard, they would have it so that different color combinations did even more complex things, but that would really probably drive everyone insane. So thankfully they keep it simple here. Okay, well, it did grab the lens, but now it didn't put it back. So now the lens is with the device, which was part of what we wanted to do. All right, so we don't need to grab it again, so we can get rid of that part. But we do need to go up even more. So let's do 4 instead of 3, and then put it in place. Let's try that. No, it still wasn't quite right. It doesn't actually need to go down anymore either, so let's clear this. Okay. We go left. We go up. And we put it in place. Let's see if that works. We will get this. To the left, up. Awesome. Yes. Alright. Feels so good getting that done in just a few minutes, considering how long it took me the first time.
Operating normally.
Alright, so that nice little smooth hum is a good sign. Probably means that everything is now working as it should. Looks all 3 beams are directed to that central point. Hopefully that means that power is being delivered to hopefully much more than just this room, given how big that power supply looks. And if we take the blue crystal now, I think we'll be okay, because I don't think we need to operate these panels anymore. So let's head back to what Boston is now referring to as the Nexus. And you are not allowed to make any Star Trek Generation jokes here. Let's have a look around. Poor Brink is still dead. Ooh, the column is now lit.
There's a huge amount of energy flowing along this column.
And, whoa, this looks active.
When this rock fell from the ceiling, it must have cracked open an energy conduit under the floor.
Okay. Note to self, do not touch that. Okay, now, I'm trying to remember, with my faulty memory, which of these doors goes with that combination that we got. Because now that the power is on, these doors will probably be operating. But I'm trying to remember which one is the first one that will open. I think it might be this one. Let's go for it. So let's have a look. We have a green triangle, a red cube, and a blue... Darn, whatever that is. I need to learn the name of that three-dimensional object there. You notice that they're all three-dimensional shapes. It's just that each face gets more and more complicated. So it goes from the triangle to the square. The next one is even more, has higher dimensions, and so on. Each one has more and more sides. Okay, so green triangle, red triangle, red cube, and now the blue, the most complex shape. Fortunately, sometimes it takes a long time to get there. Here we go.
I hope this was a good idea.
Hey, I remembered right.
So what is through this door? A death trap? A mad scientist with a pretty girl and a talking robot? An alien cafeteria? Why am I just standing here? After all, as Brink found out, the worst thing that can happen is you can take one wrong step and you're dead.
This is another reason why Boston is the hero of the adventure of this particular adventure game. He talks to himself a lot, which is another common trait of adventure heroes.
So much for the cafeteria idea.
Boston, are you there?
They use geometric shapes as a kind of combination for the locks.
Boston, you won't believe where I am. I'm in a place filled with alien technology, the most fantastic things I've ever seen. And the machines are working.
What are they doing?
I don't know yet. I mean, they're really alien. Like nothing I've seen before.
Don't go too fast, Maggie.
I'll be careful, Boston. But it's not like we have time to use correct scientific procedures to test these things.
Where are you? How can I get to you?
I wish I knew. It's a sure thing you can't get here the way I did. I slid through a low tunnel in the rock, and then it kind of got filled with debris when the roof collapsed.
You could have been killed.
Gee, I guess this isn't safe.
Hmm.
But if we'd been together, whoever went through the crack second would definitely have been killed. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about coming to save me. I handled it just fine.
Yeah, I guess you did.
We're both doing okay, Boston. We'll find a way to connect up with each other when it matters.
Maggie? Good work.
Thanks, Boston.
Okay, so Maggie's in a place that we can't get to, at least not yet. And she's where the machines are, and since they're working, hopefully she can find some way of operating them. So that goes back up to the Nexus, and we have only one thing here that seems to be active, and it's a question mark, although it looks like a button to me. Now, this looks like a transportation system. And yes, they do look like huge hamster wheels. So, as great and advanced and noble as these aliens might be, at some point in their history, they were traveling around in giant hamster wheels. So let's just keep that in mind when we, when we think that these aliens might be, glorious and amazing. You can only look so noble when you're traveling like this. But anyway, that's just my own opinion on that. Let's go in the hamster wheel.
Now I know what my pet hamster felt like.
You said it. Okay, so these buttons here will apparently call the trams. So if this goes away for some reason, we can call it back with that button. We've lost the music for some reason. I guess this is just not a musical area. We have a weakened door and a ruined door. How exactly those two are different, I'm not sure. But let's have a look.
I need some help to pry this door open.
Okay, well, I guess we need to hook up with Maggie again before we can do that. So let's try the ruin door.
Nothing could open this door.
Subtle hint to the player, don't even try. Although then you wonder why they made it active and gave it a name in the first place. Anyway. Oh, there's the music. It was waiting outside for us. Okay, we got a way up and a way down. This looks like a shorter walk, so let's try this way first. See, there's a storm off in the distance. It's kind of pretty.
Plenty of water here. If it's drinkable, then we won't die right away. We'll have plenty of time to starve to death.
Oh, it's like a turtle. Whoa. Yeah. I don't think we're swimming in that water anytime soon. So, okay, I guess, unless we can find like a bazooka to blow away that monster. I think this path is closed to us. So let's try up. You can see there's some rocky spires around here. And you can see here that they're pretty big. We're on a big one here, and there's another big one off in the distance. And it's perpetually twilight around here, if you've noticed. Certainly gives the right kind of mood lighting, I suppose.
Another ghost. The last one pointed the way down into the Nexus. Of course, that's how Brink died.
True, but we can pretty much consider that to be an accident. I don't think the ghost was trying to kill us. So that zipped around here and then went this way, and we can see that there's a lens here, and a panel, and a doorway. Let's have a look at the panel.
I can't open it.
Can we pry it open? We've got a strong tusk.
It won't do anything.
Strange device. Oh, here we go. Okay. So there's a panel, but there's also some markings on the device itself, it looks like. So Boston was talking about outer islands surrounded by a central island, and that kind of looks like what we got here. Once again, we have the notion of the pentagon right here. This may actually be the most significant shape to whatever civilization we're dealing with here. Because not only do we have a pentagon in the center, but we also have 5 surrounding islands, and then a central island. And of course, within this pentagram, we have a center area here. So I guess either the pentagon and the number 5, or these 5 and 1, the number 6, probably have some significance to these aliens. You can see that there's some other things scratched into the stone or metal or whatever it is here. But there's also a button. And you see that lit up. The trick here is that even though it's called a switch, you can't just click it and then expect something to happen. It turns out you have to hold it down. You see the line there connects the outer area to the center. Then if we let go and we exit, we have what looks like some kind of light bridge. And just for the record, this was long before Portal 2. But in any case, the lens looks like to be emitting it. So here's where we play Indiana Jones and we step out onto the precipice. Sure enough, we can walk on it. And here's where we get our first panoramic view of where we are. So there's the center island. We were down there in the middle. There's where the sheer walls are. And since we activated this light bridge, it looks like a beam of light is coming directly up from that center dais where we were digging our hole. And also there's a separate light bridge, a beam of light, which connects that same center area to this, this spire, where we just activated the light bridge. So let's go to the center where it says crystal form. It looks like crystal made completely of light energy or whatever this is. I mean, it's probably not even quite light because it's solid. We're walking on it.
It doesn't look safe to walk there.
Although Boston is suspicious about the center area being safe, and I don't blame him for that. So I have a suspicion that probably we can get beams of light to shoot out from all the spires, since we've already got the one here. But probably be some time before we're able to do that. So let's head back. Now you might be suspicious that as we connect different spires with light bridges that we can move around to different spires that way, different islands. And you would be correct. And actually I kind of prefer the light bridges as opposed to the trams, because again, the trams kind of look a little silly in my opinion. But yeah, they serve their purpose. We wouldn't have gotten here otherwise. Let's check out the door.
A bunch of displays set into the walls. Inscriptions here and there. I'd say it looks like some kind of museum.
Now in the background you'll see that there's a huge, looks like a gas giant planet with rings. And the astronomer geek in me says that we're probably not on a planet. We're probably on a moon. Because if you remember when we got here the very first time and it panned down to where we were, you could see that there were two other what looked like moons in the sky. So my guess is that those two moon-like objects we saw and this place are probably three different moons all circling around this planet here in the background. Now I might be wrong, but that's just my initial guess here from looking at what's in the sky. That's what I do. I'm an astronomer. But anyway, so just a little sidetrack there. We got glowing crystals, kind of precariously left on the ground.
Strange glowing crystals.
They almost look like medicine tablets.
I have 2 crystals.
Yes, you do. Although they look like they're palm size, so they're much larger than any typical crystal you would, or medicine tablet that you would take. Got a tablet here.
Symbols written on a plate. Looks like an alphabet.
Oh, they just happen to have their own alien Rosetta Stone lying around here. Awesome. Very, very convenient. Looks like we got displays here, so yeah, it could be an alien museum. Little, in such and such a year this happened, maybe, listed along the walls. Alright, so there it showed what looked like what happened to us, which is the spaceship brought, looks like a pair of aliens, here, just like we were brought here, but when they landed, they were actually met by what looks like bird-like things, which is the same shape that we saw the strange ghost-like being. So that suggests that maybe the natives of this planet look kind of bird-like. And they led those alien visitors into the stairway that, unfortunately, Brink found the hard way. So if these aliens were still around, they probably would have met us. It's another indication that this place truly is abandoned. Check out this display here.
Could this be some sort of burial chamber?
Yeah, so there it looked like there was one of the bird aliens who looked like he was being revered by all others. And at some point, I guess he died, and they buried him somewhere under a tree, and then later the tree grew. Which is not a bad way of, I guess, honoring the dead, planting the tree over him. Let's see what this one says, or shows. So that one showed what looked like a bird alien dead, because you could see his skeleton. Then something was smashed on top of him, or opened on top of him, unleashing some kind of fluid or goo or something. And at least restored the flesh to his bones. I'm assuming that probably means that it brought him back to life. In which case, these are definitely advanced aliens. If they can turn skeletons back into living creatures. So, looks like we have a final display here and then a door. And we get another rod.
Another one of these engravings on a stick.
Shish kebab. And yes, so here we get our second combination for one of the other doors. Let's have a look at the tablet. Boston said this looked like some kind of alien alphabet, but I have no idea how he was able to pull that out. Because this looks nothing like how an alphabet would be presented to me. It actually looks more like a schematic for some kind of machine or something. But whatever. Let's have a look at the last display here.
That canister sure packs a punch.
Yeah, so that one showed some kind of device that the bird aliens put into a mountainside and basically blew a big hole in it. Now, on the one hand, I can understand why this would be a museum for visiting aliens, because you can see that it's all pictures. It's like animated hieroglyphs. There's no text or voice. And so if you are a visitor and you don't know the language, then this is how that you could still convey information to them. What doesn't make any sense to me is, in this display, why would you show aliens that you can blow up things using your technology? I mean, that seems a little strange. It's like, welcome to our planet. Would you like to check out our explosives? You know, it's just kind of weird. But anyway, so we have reached We have made our way through the, I guess we'll call this the museum. I think it's actually referred to this later as the museum spire. And we have a door here into a new area, and we will go through that door in the next video.